Looks good. All right. Got a couple people in the lobby. We'll hold on and wait here for a second. Maybe. Well, I bet if we ring the bell. Let's see. We start our service every Sunday with ringing the bell to bring people to order because it's usually a raucous group. All right. Thank you. Welcome. We also, I should just say, we had some challenges with slides this week, so it might be a surprise what order they come up in. We're just going to go with it. We welcome you. We know you come here for different reasons, to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to question, to nurture your heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find the answers to some of your bigger questions. All right. I should introduce myself. I'm Allison Page. I'm presiding this morning. As most of you know, we're a lay-led organization. So why don't we go ahead and introduce yourselves to each other. right, well, now we'll light the chalice, and Nancy will do the honors since our young gentleman's missing today. What are we going to do without him? Tell him we missed him. Okay. All right. May the light we know may the light we now kindle inspire us. You need a match. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not harm, to help and not hinder, to bless and not curse, to serve you, Spirit of freedom. Thanks, Nancy. All right, everyone's familiar with our values, and this month we celebrate the value, we're celebrating gratitude, and we'll look at how that interrelates to the values of UU. Okay. I found this quote from Michael Fox. I thought it was so nice. With gratitude, optimism is sustainable. If you can find something to be grateful for, then you can find something to look forward to, and you can carry on, which is so true with sustainability. So I thought we want to have music with every service, so. Okay. Now for our star of the day. We're very fortunate to have with us today Robin Boles, and Robin is going to talk to us about living sustainably out of love and gratitude. So thanks for being with us, Robin, and come on up.
Hi there.
After Robin's talk, we had a lot of concerns.
Oh, there's my water bottle. All right, thank you, Allison. Yep. And I want to thank Maureen also for inviting me here to speak with you today. Can you all hear me okay? Yes. Okay, great. And thank you for coming also today. I want to talk a little bit about why I'm here, because I actually have been practicing saying no recently. And when I received the email from Maureen asking me to speak today, I quickly started to type out my polite refusal. And then I paused a moment and I said, no, just wait a minute, maybe think about it for a day. She doesn't need an answer right away. So I thought about it for a day, and I had more or less come to the conclusion that I was going to say no. And then I was talking to a friend, and I mentioned that I had been asked to speak here about gratitude and sustainability, and his response was, well, you have to do it, right? And then I thought about it, and it's true, because these are two things, two concepts that are seemingly disparate, but are very near and dear to my heart. And so if I'm going to speak about anything, this is actually the thing that I would speak about. So thank you for coming today and hearing what I have to say about gratitude and sustainability. So I'm going to open with a poem by Mary Oliver. This is called Mindful. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It is what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, and the prayers that are made of grass. So I'd like you to reflect for a moment on what natural object or system you are especially grateful for today. And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull out some of the things that I've brought that are representations of what I'm grateful for. Trees. They're like the lungs of our planet. I also heat my house with wood, so I'm also grateful for trees because they provide me with heat. Food that my farmer friends grow, put their time and effort and energy, the seeds from the plants, fresh, clean, healthy, life-sustaining water, natural fibers. Does anyone else want to share gifts that you are grateful for from the natural world?
Clean air.
Clean air, yes, lovely.
Colorful maple leaves.
Absolutely. Right now, we're so lucky this fall. It's just been such a lovely, long, extended time of having those as a gift, right? So, pardon me? Yes, yes. The birds, yeah.
It's not a thing, but it's how the earth and its pieces work together like a family.
Yeah, thank you, because that's what I want us all to recognize here, is how our lives are interwoven with all of these. Clean air, clean water, the birds, the leaves. We are interdependent upon these things to be here. And when we view these resources as gifts, it changes how we relate to them. They become something to be valued and protected rather than exploited and taken for granted. So I propose, what if we approach sustainability from a place of gratitude versus sacrifice or guilt? In such a way that we live consciously to give thanks to the earth and we respond with intentional action. So, what is gratitude? Why does it matter? And how can we cultivate it? Gratitude is the acknowledgement of the goodness in our lives. It is an act of appreciating the gifts that come to us, whether we deserve them or not. And I'm going to come back to that. But I want to talk about gratitude is not just a polite thank you and we move on. It is a feeling of appreciation that we translate into action. So for example, when I'm a guest in someone's home and I feel compelled to wash their dishes, That is because I want to reciprocate their welcoming invitation into their home, not because I feel an obligation to do their dishes. It changes that activity, which in my own home is a chore, to a blessing. And so how we approach that things when we are reciprocating for gifts, it changes how we relate to the activity that we're doing. It transforms it. So gratitude is a practice that's rooted in many spiritual traditions, and it's being studied in social and physical sciences also. So what does that really mean? Like, it has benefits, psychological and physical benefits that are definitely out there and being studied. So the Greater Good Science Center from the University of California, Berkeley, has been studying gratitude for over 20 years. And their studies find that people who practice gratitude regularly report a host of benefits, physically, psychologically, and socially. So let's break that down a little bit. Physically, gratitude provides an uplifting feeling in the present moment, right? We feel that heart opening when we feel gratitude. People who practice gratitude have stronger immune systems. They're less bothered by aches and pains, lower blood pressure. They exercise more and are more inclined to take care of their health. They sleep longer and feel more rested upon waking. Gratitude calms the nervous system. And all of these improve heart health. If we sleep better, if we have less cortisol response, all of this improves our heart health. So physically, gratitude, practicing gratitude is great. Psychologically, it's nearly impossible to feel lousy when you are in a state of gratitude. So people who practice gratitude experience higher levels of positive emotions. They're more alert, alive, and awake. They feel more joy and pleasure, and they're more optimistic. Socially, everyone appreciates their gifts, their time, their efforts being acknowledged. So people who practice gratitude, they're more helpful, more generous, more compassionate. They volunteer more. They're more forgiving. They're more outgoing, and they feel less lonely and isolated. So, if for no other reason than to improve our physiological experience right here and right now, we should be practicing gratitude. But it goes deeper than that. So gratitude not only acknowledges the goodness in our lives, but it recognizes where it comes from. We recognize the source of goodness as being outside of ourselves, external to us. It didn't come from anything we did necessarily. The home I was born into, the fact that I have clean water available for me to drink, this isn't because I deserve them or anything that I did. These are just gifts that the earth that come to us. So we can appreciate positive traits in ourselves, right? Our ability and willingness to work hard, do a good job. But really, true gratitude requires a humble dependence on external factors. We acknowledge that other people, a higher power, the earth and its natural resources, all have given us many gifts that help us to achieve the goodness in our lives. So this kind of goes against a message that we're right now in our contemporary culture, that we all deserve the good fortune that comes to us, that we are entitled to it. And when you deserve everything, and when you're entitled to everything, it makes it hard to be grateful for anything, because you're owed it. It's not a gift any longer. So when we practice gratitude, we celebrate goodness instead of adapting to goodness. Spiritually, gratitude guides us towards acknowledging a higher power as the source for the goodness that we receive in life. And it provides us to see that higher power as a guiding force to help align our thoughts and actions, a moral compass, if you will. In spiritual practice, gratitude can be seen as a discipline, much like prayer, meditation, fasting, or any other intentional action that has a goal of transforming ourselves and ultimately a shift in perspective. So in this way, we can see that gratitude is a practice. And the more we practice gratitude, the more natural it becomes, meaning it is possible to cultivate gratitude. And so here are some ways to intentionally cultivate gratitude. You can keep a gratitude journal, and writing down what you're grateful for provides a really lovely opportunity to articulate it clearly. And then later, when you are perhaps having a hard time feeling grateful, it's something you can look back at and remember what you've been grateful for. Another practice that we do in our family is gratitude recognition at mealtime. You can also do it at the end of the day. But when my oldest son was in preschool, he had a difficult time at sharing, coming up, telling people what he wanted to share. And so his teacher suggested to us that at mealtime we talk about our favorite part of the day. And so we did that, and that was really helpful for him. And it became a thing that we still do 23 years later, and we call it favorite part of the day, but really it is a practice in gratitude. And we talk about what was our favorite part of the day. And it became such a popular thing that we had to limit your favorite part of the day to the number that your age was, because some people really liked to talk, and we might have been there till 10 o'clock in the evening. So expressing your gratitude is a really great way to practice it. And in particular, if you can express it to those whom you feel gratitude. Writing thank you notes is something that's kind of gone by the wayside, but what a lovely practice to sit down and intentionally let someone know how grateful we are for their actions or their behavior or just who they are. Subtraction meditations. This is a new one to me, but meditating on an object, an event, a person, and what your life might be without that, and really thinking about that so you can come back and really appreciate the role that they play in your life. And finally, sustainable actions, I believe, are a practice of gratitude. And that's what I want to talk to you about here now. So if we circle back to this idea that gratitude is a feeling of appreciation that we translate into action, we see that it's not just receiving, but it's also about how we respond or we reciprocate. When we recognize the essential, life-giving gifts of the earth, our gratitude is reflected through the sustainable choices and the actions that we take. And it happens naturally. When we are truly thankful for what we have, we are less likely to fall into patterns of excessive consumption. The desire for more, regardless of how much we have. Keeping up with our neighbors, relatives, what marketing tells us that we need to keep buying to keep up with everyone else. This idea of retail therapy, I feel bad, so I'm gonna go buy something. Cosmetic imperfections, and letting go of the stigma around mending, patching, and repairing. So when we ground ourselves in gratitude, we shift from what I don't have yet to what am I stewarding now. And that shift opens space for sustainable choices, like repairing and reusing items that still have value and life in them. Choosing utility over perfection, especially when it comes to cosmetic, like the surface, how something looks. When I do make choice purchases, I prioritize sustainability factors in my choices. Like considering the life cycle of any product that you are purchasing. Every product, food, resource has a life cycle. How it's made, how it's used, and what happens with it in the end. A sustainable life cycle aims to conserve resources, lower pollution, and extend a product's usefulness to reduce its overall burden in all steps along the way. So, when we usually talk about sustainability, we frame it in terms of technology and what can that do for us for sustainability, or public policy. How can we make people behave a certain way sustainably? Carbon footprints, what's all the math? What would I do this thing? What's the impact of it? And all these things. These are all critical, but they're pretty abstract, rather impersonal, and often rather depressing too. So I propose that we bring an emotional or spiritual dimension to the conversation and consider our relationship with the earth as one with reciprocal regard. So when we look at things in this way, sustainable living then becomes a practice of gratitude, where each intentional choice is a way of giving back. Gratitude becomes an invitation to action instead of simply platitudes. Thank you. Move on. So what does that action look like? Let's talk about specific ways we can behave sustainably that can be seen as acts of gratitude and augment our practice of it. So I like to think about when I'm making a change, the things that we do regularly. That impact becomes exponential because we do it all the time. So when I talk about sustainability, I always start with food because I eat 3 times a day. Well, sometimes. But I do. I eat every day, and I eat multiple times a day. So that, to me, seems like a really great place to start. And when I think about food and sustainability, I think, gosh, I'm so grateful for the fertile soil, the sun, and the rain, and the farmers who grow the food that sustains me. So I'm going to honor that food. And I'm going to do that by choosing locally grown food. There's so many layers to that one right there. You're keeping your grocery dollars in our local economy. You're supporting your neighbors, your friends, your local farmers. The environmental impact of distance traveled, greenhouse gas emissions. Shopping locally is just like the number one way to really honor your food, in my opinion. Support CSAs, community gardening efforts. Eat seasonally. This is a big one, trying to eat foods that don't naturally grow at certain times of year. That takes a lot of resources to make those foods available and get them to us in this part of the world where they don't grow. I like to think of the idea, we have meatless Mondays. How about more than meatless Mondays? We've given up 1 day a week. Maybe we can give up 2 or 3. So trying to cut meat out more. Preserving from the garden to extend the harvest and to avoid food waste. Choosing less processed foods. Really, the more processing that happens with food, the more environmental impact. Purchasing in bulk to reduce packaging. Mindful eating. Do any of you have any sustainable acts of gratitude that you practice around food that you would like to share?
I do a lot of meal planning so that leftovers get, put into a Friday soup or packaged, labeled, and frozen for a future meal. That way we have very little food waste.
Lovely. Yeah.
At the end of a harvest from my garden, I make sure to save the seeds for the next year.
Great. I love that. Yeah, so food. This is a way where we can really have an impact on the environment. And so thank you, food waste. That's the next thing I want to talk about. Recognizing all of the resources and hard work that goes into growing the food. The greenhouse gas emissions from food waste. So bring it back home. I'm grateful for food grown and my access to it, so I'll minimize my food waste. I'm going to eat my leftovers. I'm going to donate my excess food to those in need. I'm going to make the effort to understand food labels and trust my senses when determining that food is safe, rather than reading a date and deciding I need to go by that and throwing it in the garbage. I'm going to turn spoiling food into compost, or I'm going to feed it to animals. Do any of you, thank you, you shared your food waste sustainable acts. Anyone else have anything else they would like to share around food waste?
Usually I buy from local farmers for meat, so I'll usually try and get the bones. Sure. I would usually use the bones to make my own beef stock or whatever, and I usually do that with veggies as well. I'll save veggie scraps in the freezer and
Excellent.
then remake it into veggie stock or whatever else for soups later. So.
Great. Thank you. I love that. Using parts that most people just toss into the trash, right? Someone else? I saw some hands.
I used to save all my scraps from a neighbor's chickens, and now they don't have chickens. I don't know quite what to do with all those scraps. I don't compost, but I do have crows and blue jays, and they do eat a lot of stuff that maybe would go in the garbage.
Yeah.
Bread, meats.
So just getting it out to nature. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had fox,
Nice.
so they would eat anything.
Thank you. So on consumption, we can think about shifting away from an object and productivity driven culture. Start to think about having enough rather than needing more, and appreciating what we already have and prioritizing our needs over our desires. So we want to think about this like, I am grateful I still have usable goods, so I will extend their life. This opens the door for repairing and mending, repairing versus replacing, so we're mending clothes, electronics and small engines, we're repairing those. Maybe we're looking at community share programs, so we're not having to buy so many of those and people can share them. We're considering the life cycle of products. We're researching the environmental impact of our purchases. We're making statements through our purchasing dollars, like packaging and quality and longevity and ability to repair over convenience and ease and bargains. And when we give gifts, we consider experiences rather than purchasing more material items. Maybe we donate to a cause in the name of the person that we want to give the gift to. And I would also like to invite us to help remove the stigma around regifting, or what I like to call shelf shopping. I have stuff in my home that is collecting dust that someone might find great use out of. And so why should I be embarrassed or they be embarrassed if it's something that they can use? So I think if we start to think about things in different ways like this, we can open up options for ourselves to find new ways to be sustainable. Does anyone have something that they'd like to share around consumption, an act of sustainability that you do around consumption?
When I when we moved to the country from St. Paul, I had an essay going through my mind on the advantages of inconvenience.
Yeah.
Because, this was before Amazon, and so by living out in the country, you have to think about things you want, and you have time to consider whether you really need them. And because there's a lot more effort involved in obtaining them, it really causes you to limit, I think, what your consideration of what you really need.
Yes. Great. Anyone else?
So when we visit our daughter out in Portland, I'm exposed again to a program called Buy Nothing, where the people just list online what they're giving away for free. Yeah. And I think it exists here in River Falls too.
I think so.
So gladly, the internet and technology has made that program grow. I think it's a great resource sharing.
I agree. So finally, on everyday household things and lifestyle choices, like we talked about before, making shifts in things we do regularly on a daily basis has a large impact. So when compelled through the lens of gratitude, the additional work that it takes to hang my laundry can become a meditative practice in reducing greenhouse gas emissions and fossil fuels. So when we look at it this way, we think, I am grateful for the limited resources at my disposal. I will honor them by offering my time and energy instead of always opting for convenience. So we can replace paper towels with reusable cloths, minimize single-use plastics, use a refillable water bottle where you're honoring your fresh water and you're not contributing to the plastic issue, hanging our laundry, growing a garden, and if you can, electrify. Electric vehicles, electric tools, solar. These are things that have huge impacts on the environment. Does anyone have Any sustainable acts of gratitude around household activities and lifestyle choices that you'd like to share? Mm-hmm.
I love turning off lights.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Turning off lights. Yeah. If you leave the room, just turn the light off. Don't leave them on. Drives me crazy when people do that.
Yeah. So simple, right? So these aren't perfect solutions, but they're gratitude-anchored practices. And when we see the earth and the climate, the ecosystems as gifts we've received, we shift into a posture of caretakers, not consumers. And these actions become a lifestyle choice rooted in appreciation rather than sacrifice or guilt. Stewardship is an act of love, a love for the web of life and for future generations. So sustainability is not just about what we stop doing, it is about how we live our gratitude. When hanging our laundry or choosing local resources, these simple acts become offerings back to the earth. So I invite you, as you go forth today, may you walk in gratitude for the gifts of nature, and may your choices reflect that gratitude, not out of guilt, but out of love, responsibility, and joy. And I'm going to leave you with two thoughts. I've got a quote from Jen Gale, a sustainability advocate, that I think is really valuable, and then a poem by Wendell Berry. So this is what Jen Gale has to say. Quite possibly, the most sustainable action anyone can take is to simply do less. I'm going to say that again. Quite possibly, the most sustainable action anyone can take is to simply do less. It's going to be more sustainable for the planet, and it's going to be more sustainable for us also. So I have a poem by Wendell Berry. It's called Look It Over. I leave behind even my walking stick. My knife is in my pocket, but that I have forgot. I bring no car, no cell phone, no computer, no camera, no CD player, no fax, no TV, not even a book. I go into the woods. I sit down on a log provided at no cost. It is the earth I've come to. Sadly, the earth, abused by the stupidity only humans are capable of. But, as ever, itself, free. A bargain. Get it while it lasts. Thank you.
Any questions for Robin? Any questions?
Yeah, are those slides your slides that you brought? The one in the beginning and,
Yeah, I can get those to you here.
yeah. You know, those slides that were here, like the one you started with.
When I was speaking,
Yeah.
or I sent
Well,
some photos
the
to Allison.
first one, which was just lovely, of a lake
The very first one
and,
that had the
Yeah.
words with it?
yeah.
Yeah, yep, I found that on the internet.
Oh, yeah, it's just gorgeous. I
Yeah, isn't
mean,
that
what a
pretty?
place to be,
Yeah,
living in a place like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
very nice.
Thank you.
Great, other questions or comments around? Okay, thanks so much.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, Magic Slide Man above. Do we have one with joys and concerns, or did I skip over it, or why don't we just pause? What? Okay, should I just click back? There we go. All right. Okay. Well, every Sunday we have an opportunity for people to share anything they're joyful about or share any concerns. So please come on up and do so. Anybody have anything? Nancy?
I have a joy that a group of folks who sing some Beatles songs on December 6th every year are going to be singing here on December 6th Thomas R. Smith, Krista Spieler, myself, and some other musicians, and it'll be really fun. And I have to get permission from the board though, so we can practice the night before. But having this place with the great acoustics, and we're just going to sing, sweet, fun, lovey songs. So also come then too.
Nice. Other joys or concerns?
I have a joy that we have this thing here. And it's part of our service, because it's kind of a new thing. It became quite common when I was younger, and we incorporated it into a lot of churches now. It's a great thing.
Right. Very nice.
And I'm grateful for the community I have in my life. Many community sources.
Yeah. And I'll throw a rock in that we're grateful for you.
Yeah.
I can add something, yeah. So I think River Falls, small town, is a great place to practice sustainability and be grateful. But when I read the papers, I can't forget about the rest of the world, especially South Sudan right now, which is suffering, the people there, terrible famine and civil war. Don't know what to do. It's hard not to feel guilty when you're grateful for everything that's around us.
You have one? Jim, you look like you have one. Well, I would say I'm grateful for the rise in engagement and involvement in our democracy that we saw last week. The numbers were stunning. It's hope. It brings me hope. Others? If not, all right, then we'll put the giant rock in for all the joys and concerns that go unspoken. We're going to break that one, eh? Okay. Uh-oh. There we go. Whoop. Robin had a beautiful one of food and gathering outside, and it was just, did she disappear? Oh, no, right there. I was sitting over there before. Okay, and good food. All right, announcements. We have administration committee meeting and book club today on November 13th, social action reading group. On the 16th, Eileen Karenik, next Sunday, Eileen Karenik will be with us again. If you haven't experienced Eileen Karenik speaking, she's wonderful. She's so brilliant, and she just always has so much to share. And Poetry Club meets after that. On the 23rd, The Music of Resistance with Richard Terrell and Larry McDonough. Did I say that right, Don? Yeah. Okay. Good enough. And then on the 30th, we're going to have a pancake breakfast and poems. Don and Ann Leek will be presiding, and we will be getting the building ready for the holiday season. It'll be fun. We won't make anybody clean. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for being here. And of course, your presence is welcome, as are your presents. We have coffee and conversation and treats, compliments of Ann Leek, in the kitchen today. And we will end with our closing words. I'd like to gather. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Question all things. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering.